On today's Tech Help for Churches, 3 podcasts about podcasting that I listen to. Hi, and welcome again to Tech Help for Churches. This is the show where every week I help you with new media, social media, just using the web and internet for your church. My name is Paul Allen Clifford. So it occurred to me that I haven't talked recently about the shows that I listen to, the places that I get information about podcasting, because it's one of the areas that I dig arms and elbows into. Not that I'm the premier expert, I'm not. I've written a book about it, Podcasting Church, but it's just such a vast category that there's always more to learn. So where do I go to learn more about it? Well, let me tell you about a few of the podcasts and a few of the other ones that you could listen to, and if I had infinite time, maybe I would listen to as well, and have listened to at one time or another. So the first one is The School of Podcasting. Quite frankly, this is one of the first podcasts I ever listened to. Dave Jackson just makes things so entertaining and just so fun, and there's something about his sense of humor that I just get. Maybe it's because I've got that sarcastic gene. I don't know. Yeah, I do. I totally do. Anyway, maybe that's it. But something about that show I just really like. I was actually a member of the School of Podcasting way back when it was really, really, really cheap. And if I hadn't had a bit of financial difficulty, I'd probably still be a member, and Dave would probably be going, "There's still a dude paying $2 a month?" You know, it was way back when, like 10 years ago. So that's how far back. And Dave just dives in. Sometimes it's technical, sometimes it's philosophical, and it's just a fun show to listen to. And I keep meaning to write in a because of my podcast story, and I'll get to it eventually, but that's a fun thing. Next, the Podcasters Roundtable. Now, this is a show where it takes, the main host is Ray Ortega, and he has Daniel J. Lewis, and again, Dave Jackson. See a theme here. And they discuss topics about podcasting, just roundtable style, different topic every fortnight. They're not British, they just like the word, because we Americans like British words. It's a thing. Anyway, so they discuss these things every couple of weeks, and it's really entertaining. And if any one of those 3 gets on your nerves, then they just divide it up with a 4th, sometimes 5th person, and it's just really fun. So I really enjoy listening to that, and that reminds me, I need to get on the list to be in one of the rounds. Finally, the Audacity to Podcast. This is another show with the name that I've mentioned already, Daniel J. Lewis. Now, you might think with the title, The Audacity to Podcast, that it's all about the software Audacity. No. Originally, it had a bit of that to it, but Daniel J. Lewis meant it as a pun, meaning both using the software and being audacious. I think he ought to rebrand, but that's just me. Love you, Daniel. But the Audacity to Podcast is a great show. It's, as he says, it's in depth. So if you're curious about some of the nuts and bolts, some of the details, if you want someone that has done all kinds of experimentation on the best way to reach an audience, how to maximize podcasting SEO, someone who has a community of podcasters that pay to just interact with one another and get the best ideas, kind of in an iron sharpens iron sort of way, Daniel's your man. He's very precise. Sometimes his language is even precise. Like he'll hit consonants very precisely. That's just who he is, and that's one of the things that's really lovable about him. So Daniel J. Lewis and the Audacity to Podcast. Those are three that every time there's a new episode, I take it in. Now, there are a few more. I'm not going to list every single podcast about podcasting, but these are three more that I've listened to on and off over the years, and I thought that I would mention them kind of as honorable mentions, just if you need some more. Inside the Podcaster Studio, again, Ray Ortega, I believe. This one I haven't actually listened to, but I keep meaning to, because I really like Podcasters Roundtable, so I think, well, maybe if it's got the same host, I'll like that. So that's a good one. I think that's more about gear. And if that's what you like, if you want to geek out on the gear, it's worth taking a look at. Podcast Answer Man. That's Cliff Ravenscraft. And he's got a thriving podcast consulting business. Well, not directly anymore. He does some community stuff and classes and such. But that is another great podcast to take in to learn just basically how to podcast. And finally, The Feed. Now, this is the official podcast of Libsyn. Libsyn is one of my recommended media hosts. Between them and Blueberry, I just don't see how you could go wrong with picking one of those. But The Feed, Rob, whose last name escapes me right now, Rob really geeks out on the stats. So he'll sometimes tell you just little nuts and bolts on things that are just incredible. Elsie she's kind of like every podcaster. She's wonderful, she's interesting, and it's all about podcasting, but she's also all about yoga and fitness, so it's kind of a fun mix. Occasionally some fitness-related stuff, healthy living, just sneaks in there, and it's kind of fun. It's basically her baby with Rob coming in during one of the segments to help her out with some of the stats and stuff that he geeks out about. So those are three other podcasts about podcasts about podcasting. Say that twice, 3 times, real fast. I even messed that up. Whatever. So say that fast 3 times. That's what I meant to say. And just take in those shows, and I think they'll help you in learning more about podcasting. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my email newsletter by going to trinitydigitalmedia.com/newsletter. And there you can pick up a free copy of my newsletter along with a free gift and some more tips and tricks about using church tech. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford with trinitydigitalmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this show, and if you're watching it on YouTube, like it, and comment, and share. Till next time, go out and change eternity.